Good Sunday afternoon to you guys, wherever you are. Welcome back to another evening of reflections. This is your girl, Miss Bev, and just a few things to reflect on today. They had today in the news, there are some shootings and some all sorts of stuff going on, right? And I was in the kitchen doing the dishes, and I started to reflect on us as a nation, as a black people. Now remember, we live in a white country, and we expect prejudice, we expect those kinds of things. But then I'm looking at us in Jamaica, where this is our island of black people who were dropped off so many years ago, who slaved on plantations for white men and women, and we had our foreparents who were able to survive the abuse and all the things. And you would think that we would have learned from it and to understand the pain and the suffering of our foreparents. Because when they walked away, they didn't walk away and left our foreparents rich. They left them in poverty. And so everybody has to rebuild, has to start building and fighting for survival and having families and know that they had to make sure their families are okay, and they worked. And yet you look today and you see the hateful behaviors against one another, the killings, the robbings, people buying a vehicle and then people set up to steal it, people buying their motorbikes and people killing them to take it. And I said, we are oppressing our own. We are so heartless that we don't even stop to think. We just find it funny. Because I know when we do these things and we link up, we talk about, yeah man, you want to see one of my trim when we pull out my gun anymore. Sometimes, the jokes, I remembered years ago when they used to have the jokes, like those big trailers coming through from Kingston to Montego Bay or to Negril Point or wherever they were hauling the goods to. And when they would hold out the road out when people are trying to overtake them, and they would hold the road and would laugh about it. They would talk about it for so many stories I would hear from people, family members who used to drive back then. One family member was a taxi driver, and when they would go to the bars, they would take it for a joke, when he comes home and he's laughing about, boy, I said this guy, man, I say him, so when the guy try overtaking up, and when he look at him, just hold the road upon him, and when the next vehicle come on, he roughly run off of the road, man. And they took these things for a joke. And I said, how heartless can we be when we look and to see. So when sometimes, guys, we have to take time to reflect on some things around us and see how it can be better. Because I'm telling you, it's gonna get worse. Because when young people today, there are more young people today who, even if they have education or they have access to it, or the parents are fighting to send them through, their minds are made up for lives of crime. Their lives are not saying, yeah, I'm going to go work down on Mr. Chin and go home with 5,000 a week. That's not in their heads. They're not going to work for a hotel for 2 pence halfpenny for the whole week. And now they're bright and smart and they're looking like the hotels are taking home so much for themselves when they do nothing. Okay, we don't stop to say, well, the hotel, they have to pay the mortgage on the building if they're paying a mortgage. A lot of them, I don't know, they get so much of Jamaica's land that they can just come here and build, and Jamaicans are here who are just here. You tell me Jamaicans don't have enough money to buy a piece of these lands, or to how are these people just coming in? All these hotels owned by foreigners. Jamaicans might own a little guest house there, a little guest house there, but it's just foreigners coming in and building, the Spanish are coming in, reuse this, reuse that, reuse 1, 2, 3. And yet Jamaicans are here. So what's wrong with Jamaicans? As people say, Jamaicans own nothing in their own country. Everything is owned by foreigners. So these are little things, guys, that make me, reflect on you're coming home and, you're trying your best, but tough. So tell me, what do you think? Do you think that we as black people fight and oppress our own too much? Or do you think that we support one another the best way we can? Then we look at an accident that happened early this morning, 4:30 or so. And this happened in the Lilliput stretch of the highway going from Trelawney to Montego Bay. And you had 3 people traveling in a BMW. And this 24-year-old, the driver hit a curb, the car flipped over. 24-year-old Brittany Mackenzie, she succumbed to her injuries, so she died, and the other 2 end up in hospital somewhere. They don't know. They don't have information on them. And this was in the Observer today. So again, the saga continues. The lifelong trauma will continue on for this driver, knowing that, I don't know if she was drunk, I don't know if she fell asleep at 4:30 in the morning. Your body is already saying, I want to sleep. Sometimes we have to understand. A lot of young people, they just feel like, don't worry about me, we got this, we did it before, they are so, they so feel like they're so invincible. And I always say to my children, I said, you're strong, yes, and it is the mommy you raised us well, that's true. But don't take unnecessary chances. Don't go out there. You know that you live in a neighborhood. It doesn't matter how nice our neighborhoods are. You don't need to be going at 12 o'clock to put garbage out. You don't need to be driving at 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when you know that your body is tired. By 7 o'clock in the evening, you've been up 12 hours or more already, and your body is saying it's time to relax. And then you're going to fight it, and you're going to drink what they call it, Red Bull or what kind of a bull, to stay awake. When your body is tired, it wants to just relax. I encourage people. I said, if you know you're going to drive 3 or 4 hours, you don't need to do it all at once, Stop at a hotel, sleep it off, bathe and refresh your body, and then continue on your journey. There's no reason to be fighting against your body to get from point A to point B. For what reason? We have to learn to take life in strides and understand and reflect on our actions at all times. Just step back for a moment and reflect on, why is this necessary? So we don't know what happened, why she hit the curb. If I get more information, I will share it in another reflection moment. But I just, I thought about the young lady who was driving, and to know that once she gets out of the hospital, and she has to be reminded that it was her mistake or whatever happened that took the life of that young girl. I don't know. I don't know. But I can just see that mentally it's going to affect somebody. So guys, as you navigate the roadways, take your time. So many, as I said, I came here and I am never encouraged to just get up and go, because I'm not saying God is not protecting. Don't get me wrong. I believe in God. I know He protects. But I always say, I don't want to be one of those just getting up and to unnecessarily, because you see them on the roadways. As I always say, they create 3 lanes, and you cannot just sit there. If you ever take your eye off the road, you're in trouble. We're coming from Montego Bay, and a guy we're in the left lane. We're Jamaicans, we drive on the left of the roadway, and we're going up, but there's a soft shoulder over there. And we had a guy in his nice big road whatever, who just took to the left of our left and just kept going straight up on the soft shoulder. Didn't care. If you had an emergency and just took it for granted that your left side is a safe side to step off, he would have knocked us to smithereens. Just go. You're going and you're in your lane, and the other traffic is coming this way, and people take the middle between you going this way and the other traffic coming this way. And they just veer off and just can't wait, and they come right down the middle. You better swing your body out of the way and let them go about the business. So those are things that, I said I was never a street person. I was never a person who said, oh yeah, let's go to the movies. Oh yeah, let's just go drive out. Oh yeah, no. I was never one of those persons. And when I come home and I see how they disrespect the roadways, it just really ticks me off. We have to be respectful. We have to understand that there's some people, I don't know, they're not big time drivers. Some people come back from abroad and they want to have a car because they want to get around and be independent. And sometimes these kinds of drive-ins, they scare them until you're going up down and they're coming around the corner and they don't hold their corner. They're out in the road because they're driving a big truck. And so, as I said, as we go along life's journey, we have to take a moment to just stop, reflect on things, and just remember to ask God to carry us through. So the final thing I want to reflect on, I said it before in another video, about people who are going through their, Bev Brown calls it the crucibles right now as it relates to immigration issues. And I said it before that you're going to have a lot of scammers out there, a lot of people out there who are going to promise you the world, a lot of people who are going to be out there who, for the love of money, they're going to be putting you into worse situations than you're in right now. And so, as I said to people, come home. Come home with your suitcase, your 1 suitcase, your 2 suitcases, your 3 suitcases if you can pay the extra for them. But come home with some dignity. The money you're going to take to give it to people and get nothing out of it, why don't you come home with that and start building? Why don't you just come home with that? You come home to your family, people see you with your family. They're going to think that you're on vacation, you know, until time runs out and they see you're not moving, and then they will realize that you are deported or something. But when you wait to be thrown back into Jamaica with nothing, when you come and you can't even pay taxi fare, nobody to come there and meet you. Sometimes you've been away for so long and you burned so many bridges. But if you have the money, you can come home. You can book a hotel room or an Airbnb, and you can stay right there and build a life. So here you have this man. He calls himself a lawyer. Kofi, Amankwa, Bronx, New York. You know that in New York there's so many, because that's a melting pot, they say. We're not going to call it a melting pot. We're going to call it the salad bowl with every little bit of everything. It's a little lettuce, a little tomato, a little raw onion, some garlic here sprinkled, you know, a little bit of everything. You know, for who love the nuts, a little nuts, some like the raisins, a little raisins, but everything in that pot, in that, stirring up. And everybody wants their little break, and everybody wants, you know, they just want a little break. And so here is this man who was taking huge sums of money from people. They say he was doing a large-scale immigration fraud and using what they call the VAWA. There's one ADWA, Acts of Domestic Violence Against Women. VAWA is similar to that. So they're using violence against people. You're married to somebody maybe to get your papers, and then you claim acts of violence. But they say it can be from parents to children, or, you know, however. But it's an act of violence law there that people can go in and claim in order to get a green card, to get a chance to get a green card. So he was charging a lot of people. They were running this big thing, multi pieces, multi parts of it, and that's what they were running. And so they caught up to him, and they lock him up for 70 months. Make a lot of money, because when people, he says, you know, when trouble take your picnic trousers fit you. So any little thing you hear go on, everybody, each one I tell one, go try, man, put through my paper, and then you don't wait for the results to see if it makes sense. And so everybody run because they're desperate. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. And so they're running to get something, anything, to give them a chance. And so many have thrown away thousands of dollars. Because in his case, what do you have to get? What are you going to get? Huh? Now they probably start to investigate you. So these are things, guys, that I reflect on, like, you know, how people needing help, and before we help them down. Because people don't have a conscience. There's so many out there without a conscience. So they see a situation and they create their little office, some little place, here today, gone tomorrow. And they suck you in, and you feel good to go in, and you start feeling good inside because, yeah, I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you. They come up with the fake portfolios and testimonials and say, yeah, we did this for, and see they were, and only to find out later on that everything was just a fraud and you have nothing to gain from it. So these things, we reflect on them because we know these times there are so many out there ready to scam. ready to lie, ready to just steal your hard-earned money, your little money that some of you, especially those of you, so many you're working for with Alzheimer's patients. When I went to America with a green card, I too worked, that's where I started. I started taking care. At that time, they didn't have home health care or all of that. In the 80s, people would just, go in and go take care. And then they start creating these agencies. And what had happened was that now when they create the agency, they could pay you, they take the job, the patients have Medicaid or Medicare. Medicare, you get less hours. So Medicare patients would get 4 hours. But the Medicaid patients, oh Lord have mercy, they would get 24 hours, 2 shifts. You would have, those are what some of us used to like, 12 hours. When you work 60 hours per week, you're getting a fat, nice check, And so the agencies now start seeing how to get in. And because when my training was done by just a lady from downtown, a nurse, who she came and she was asking me, why are you here? Because when they did the training thing, how to pivot and turn the patient, I was a quick learner, very quick learner. I don't like to hear reading and all of that, but I observe well and I can implement well. And so when we did the test, boom, 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 I got my certificate. But it was from the city at the time. It wasn't private companies. And then afterwards, a private company started coming on board, and they now would get the pay from Medicaid. So Medicaid would pay like $30 an hour, but they pay you like $5, $4.50. They pay you a little bit of something. And now that the private agencies come on board, then they start making all sorts of rules. Sometimes some of them begrudge the paycheck when you come home with such a big paycheck. I used to say they're sitting in the office and not making what we make, so they were jealous of it. And so they start saying, no, nobody's going to work 12 hours, 7 days or 5 days. It's going to be cut into 3 or 4. And it just... And so it was that so many changes came on board, so much, and they start doing extra training, but that's where I started. And I knew in the end part when I had started college, dropped out of college because I had the twin girls, and I needed, I'm looking and I'm saying, no, education is going to still be there, but I need to be there for them. And I stepped away from college for a year, but then as the kids got a little older and more independent, I went back. And so when I went back, I was doing 7 nights a week with an Alzheimer's patient, which was tough because you go in and sometimes they don't sleep, and sometimes you're trying to be nice to them and they'll hit you, or they're strong and wants to fight. And it wasn't easy. So I know how it is when, and I had my papers, I know how it is when you have these people who are opening homes for Alzheimer's patients, and they know that they're not an easy piece to work with. But they open it because, guess what? You're going to have illegal people who will suck it up, who will go through the abuse. It's a very abusive. But they'll go through it because at the end of the day, they want their paycheck. Guys, life is not a bed of roses. And that is why I say, always give respect and speak sweet words one to another, because we never know what the other person is going through. So many go through all of that and they send home their monies, and unfortunately, nobody understands, nobody cares. And so you pray for them and you hope for the best. And we say onwards and upwards always. Make it a great day by choice. Please remember to check out the GoFundMe page to help even 10 children. We're looking for $1,000 tops. If we get $1,000, we can help 10 children to give them $15,000 to help buy their books to start school for the next school year as they enter high school settings. My sister called me this morning, and I called her, and the conversation went over into the GoFundMe. She definitely will be supporting it. She always supports my ventures. And she had a question. I don't know if any of you, just think about it. And she was saying, so Beverly, when you do this, how will they manage for the next school year? So I told her I wasn't even going to reflect on it, because I feel like, just like we did the soup kitchen, what it was, we weren't taking up people's responsibilities. We were just helping. That's what it is, a support. So that means they're going to school in September when school reopens. They have to get their books over the summer. Whatever we get, it will be a voucher bought at a bookstore that they can go there and purchase school supplies as needed. This should give the parents a little cushion, a little something. That means it should be that now they can put away something to meet the next school year. You know what I'm saying? So it's not every year we're going to be doing it. No, we're just helping. We're just giving them a brick, one brick, to start the journey. Because I know in primary school how expensive the books are, how expensive, and the huge book list that these poor children are getting with no subsidies. It is heartrending. So I'm just reaching out to you, my YouTube family. I know we're retired. I know we are having our bills where we are. I know we have our families to take care of. I know. But I also know that in your heart you know that the good we do, it does live after us and our children. And so God has blessed us. The little children, I'm not saying that, a lot of us are in a better situation. This is why I reached out after COVID and did so much for Jamaica, because I look at it, I said, I'm in a position where, my God, I could get this done, I could get that, could work from home, still get my full salary. When in Jamaica, some people didn't have Wi-Fi. They might have a little data on their phones, but they didn't have internet in their house, So even to work from home, how are they going to work from home if they don't even have a box, a thing? So those were things that I looked at. I looked at where I was and the opportunities that were afforded me. And I closed my eyes and I looked back in Jamaica and I said, my God, so many people out of jobs, so many children, even if they get a tablet, what are they going to run it on? And so I say today, so many of us are in a space where, even with our retirement, it is so much more than any Jamaican could really, I'm just saying, I'm rambling on. This is not a reflection, but I'm just rambling on because I'm just saying, just dig deep, guys. You can give $20. Look at the GoFundMe link. It's a scholarship fund, Miss Bev's MVP Scholarship Fund, MBPSF, MVP. And click on the link and donate something, anything, donate something so we can. I want to give a shout out to Trending Life TV, who was the first one to donate. And as I spoke to my sister, she didn't tell me how much she will donate, but I know she will donate. My children always support my projects, and I'm expecting this to be no different, because we're all big on education, and this is not for my pockets. Everything will be transparent, and you will see that the vouchers will be bought with the funds that we collect. I'm not giving cash to anyone. There will be the only person getting cash is the bookstore, and everything will be done in a voucher with the kid's name on it. They go in with their ID and they go and purchase what they need and pay with the voucher. So I'm just asking guys to just go over, please, and support. Jamaica is not, this is rural Jamaica. This is not urban Jamaica where things are moving, everything is there. This is in the rural section where things are hard, things are different. And we see the little kids who are trying, they're really, really trying. And they just need that little oomph. Parents just need a little oomph. The schools just need a little oomph, just to help them to stay afloat. So please help Miss Bev, help these children. Your blessings, not from Miss Bev, but from God Himself. He will pour out blessings that you won't have room enough to receive it. So each one helps one? Yes? Thank you. Be good to yourselves. If you can't be good, be careful. But work good and do good. Because when we do good, it comes back like a magic penny. Make it a great evening by choice.